Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Friday's Hope, a time where we share hope for today and every day, for everyone, everywhere. I'm Sue Barnhart. I'm one of the ministers at the Worship Center here in Northern Illinois. And we're going to talk a little bit about what do your eyes have to do with mental health. It's kind of what I put out as a little hint on what we're going to talk about. And remember, we talked about eyes the last time a little bit and how unique they are. Well, as I was reading my daily Bible verses and things, I came across this passage that really got me to start thinking. And it is Psalm 119:37. Psalm 119:37 says, "Turn away my eyes from looking at worthless things and revive me in your ways." Now that's the New King James Version. In the New Living Translation, it says just about the same thing. Turn my eyes away from worthless things and give me life through your word, meaning God's word. And it started to make me think, what do my eyes and what am I looking at or watching have to do, or how are they going to impact my mental health? If I'm watching something or I'm binge watching something, I love to read. If I'm reading something, videos, YouTube, social medias, all of that. And I started to think, how's that affecting my mental health? And what actually is worthless? What is this author of Psalm 119 saying when he says, keep my eyes away from things that are worthless? And so I would say what he meant as far as worthless is things that are going to discourage or things that are not going to encourage you or keep you walking life the way you should be. Okay? So that's what I think worthless is. I don't know what the definition of the word is. I did not look it up. But if you remember, we talked about eyes last week. We talked about how different your eyes are from everybody else. We talked about how this company sells those biometric door lock scanners, and the way you open them is through your eyes. And they are just about invincible because nobody has eyes that are same. The characteristics of the interretinal vascular system, in other words, the inner workings of your eye and all the vessels, are known to vary among individuals, and their variances have been used for identification as well. So it's not just fingerprints, it's your eyes that can be used for in early detection of onset disease as well. That vascular network is a sign that God put you together, that God gave you, creating an intricate network just for you. Nobody else has the same network as you do in your eyes because you're unique. Because of the complex structure of the capillaries that supply the retina to the blood, each person's retina is unique, making retinal scans as an emerging genetically authentication method to identify people or to open doors. The network of blood vessels in the retina is not entirely genetic determined either. Thus, even identical twins do not have the same similar patterns in their eyes. Proverbs 20 verse 12 says, "The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord has made them both." Who else could make something that intricate and that so unique? I mean, think how many billions of people are on the earth, and none of us have the same eye. Just like there's no two snowflakes. There's no two fingerprints that are the same. There's no two snowflakes that are the same. How does that happen? My estimation, there's only one way, and that's our God, who knows how to make intricate details. So we looked at how vision works. Some experts will tell you that the human eye can see between 30 and 60 frames per second. Per second. The frames are what makes a movie or a cartoon. Some maintain that the eye may be able to see more, although research is needed. Visual stimuli are measured in frames per second. If you're looking around, your eyes are viewing several different things that are happening. Think about going to the mall. You see the stores, you see the people, you know where your child is, if that's with you, you know where your purse is, you see a for sale sign, you see a store sign that maybe is different or the one you're looking for. You see old people, young people, babies, children, you see decorations, all sorts of things you're seeing all at once. Most of us are anyway. It's important to remember how you're able to see images in the first place, okay? This is important. Light, this is why some people are not able to see, light passes through the cornea, this part, on a point. You've seen the schematics, in the front of your eyes until it hits the lens. The lens then focuses the light on a point at the very back of your eye in a place called the retina. Then photosensor cells at the back of your eye turn the light into electrical signals, while the cells known as rods and cones pick up on that motion. Listen to all this. Man can't produce this. They produce a camera. They can't produce all this. The optic nerve carries the electrical signal, here's the important part, to your brain. All that stuff you're seeing in that mall or while you're driving or wherever is going to your brain. That's the first thing we have to understand. What we see is carried to our brain. And that controls our mental status, of course. That controls our mental. I have 4 children. One of them, I loved going to malls when I lived in the bigger cities. She just about came unglued. Couldn't understand it when she was younger. Had no idea that all of that she was taking in was overstimulating her, and she just wanted out of there, started acting out, everything else. Had no idea. To this day, her favorite thing to do is go to a quiet hotel room with her friends and go to a quiet dinner. That's her favorite thing to do. She overstimulates. Now, I love all the things I can take in, the music, the noise, the people, the decorations, the sales, the stores. I love it all. Love taking all that in. Sometimes, though, you can't. It overstimulates you. So it depends on how our mind handles all that. So I got some research off the internet. You know I would. And here's what some sites have said. This particular information came from a LifeSource site. It says, have you taken a moment to consider how and what you watch or stream might be impacting your mood? Try to convince some people that when they were younger. These days it seems like both social media, streaming, TV shows, Netflix, Hulu, movies are almost essential for an enjoyable day-to-day life. Or maybe that's just me. I know that so many of us spend a good amount of downtime discovering their favorite movies or their favorite sites or their favorite information, or maybe they watch a show that's an older show. Good evening, Pastor Paulette. Thank you for joining me. Of course, it's important to curate those social medias, cut out the stuff that's not good and get rid of the things, but have you found yourself intentionally curating or cueing what you're watching on a Netflix or a streaming channel? Are you cutting out some of the other stuff that's also kind of coming in through your eyes and causing you struggle? What you watch might be, I would say it does, impact your mood and more about what you think. Your mental health. There's a story by a gentleman named Charlie Huneman. And it says, I took a personal story to illustrate the point. This is the author of this article. A few years ago, a friend of mine recommended that I start streaming this show. It's perfect, it's wonderful, and it was kind of a thriller, violent type thing, and I wasn't really into it. This is what he's saying. And so I finally gave in and started watching it and got hooked. Loved it. Got hooked. It was all about, getting back at the bad guy and everything. But he said shortly thereafter, after he got done binge watching it, he noticed he was more on edge, irritable, starting to feel more angry, and he kind of took time to self-reflect. And I think that's an important point. I don't sit and take time to self-reflect very much. Well, I don't sit much anyway, but I think it's important that we do that. We start checking out ourselves every once in a while, become introspective about what's going on. And he took some time to reflect, and couldn't point to any recent change in his life except delving into this series that he had been watching. So he says, let me be honest, I love the stories where they blame the bad guy and they get rid of the bad guy and all that other stuff. I clearly wasn't being as mindful as I needed to be for myself. Lesson 1, be mindful of yourself and how you are feeling and reacting to others. Has it changed after you started watching or reading something, being on social media sites? What's changed? Usually there's something we've put in ourselves that changes our mood and our mental status. So be careful. That was lesson 1 from me. I did realize, this is back to Charlie's story, however, that spending many of my free hours watching people being in chaotic situations, struggling to get better, crisis-risen drama, violent situations was not doing him any good. The story was great, so were the rest of the stories, but it was just too intense for me. Especially piled on, hear this, with our regular emotional toll of whatever our day is. A lot of us go through a lot. Why are we piling more on? I never did figure that out. But the experiment, later I conducted an experiment. I stopped watching that. And I paused my viewing for a few days and opted for a higher, lighter material after work and on weekends. Maybe something funny, something easy to watch. So much so, I felt better. So much so that I didn't end up, this is what he says, I didn't end up going back to that series that I was asked to binge watch. I don't particularly regret making that choice either. Lesson 2, this is where I'm speaking. To do this experiment and take note of how you're feeling and how you're acting with others. Do that. If there's something you're really watching, I have a friend that binge watched this show that I can't watch, and most of you know I'm not very good at watching a lot of those shows anyway, but she loved this one, cussing and kicking and arguing and fighting, and oh my goodness, I watched about 30 minutes of it with her and told her I'd go home. Anyway, she binge watched about 3 days of it, and I'm telling you, her attitude just went downhill. Now, I didn't say anything to her. and I don't know if she knows to watch or not because she went right back to watching it. She said, I love this show. Yeah, you might, but is it helping you any? Is it helping our mental health? So take an experiment and take note how you're feeling after you've watched some shows, and maybe back away from something, or your social media or your Instagram or videos on YouTube or whatever. If you start to feel a little weird, back away from stuff. See if it makes a difference. There's no one, back to Charlie's story, that's going to ruin there's no one show that's going to ruin your mental health. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't give you depression. And on the other side, if you stop watching gritty shows, it's not going to cure you either, especially. But if you're declining in mental health, it will help. It will help encourage you. Lesson number 3. But the point is, what we consume can absolutely exacerbate certain moods and emotions in our life. Oh my goodness, I've known that's happened to me. And these days, with all the negativity that we're exposed to on a regular basis, maybe thinking about what we watch and how much and how it impacts our mood is a good thing. You know, just like when the kids were little, no, you can't watch that because it's too violent, or you can't watch that because it's got too much of this. Maybe we should be telling ourselves that to help our mood and to help our mental status. Maybe it's time to reassess our queue, our channel listing, our place. Hi, Linda. Good to have you on tonight, honey. Maybe it's time to reassess what we're watching or what we're looking at. Whatever your favorite shows are, it could be taking a toll on your mental health. In moderation, watching TV is typically an enjoyable and harmless activity, according to Paul Weigel, who's a doctor at Nat Chung Hospital. Lesson 4, but it's important, this is me talking, it's important to be mindful of what you're watching. You know, it just is important. So which shows are binge-worthy and which ones should you hit pause on? Dr. Weigel asks. Watching TV isn't necessarily a bad thing. No, it isn't. I watched a show the other day and I giggled all the way through it. I just loved it. I can't even tell you what it is now, sorry. TV shows provide a welcome relief. Yeah, have a tough day, let's turn the TV on and become a couch potato for a while. Try planning to watch a show with your family. There's a thought, if you have family around. I know one of my children grab her fiance and all the kids and they watch, well, no, 2 of them do that. They watch movies together, you know. Just make sure it's age appropriate for all. A good program can be a great way to enjoy family time and seg into productive discussion. So you can segue into good discussions. My favorite, well, I'll get down to that. Unless you're watching all the time, it's okay to watch TV, just not too often or forever. In excess, watching TV for several hours per day. And I've tried to get some of my clients to not do this. They get up early in the morning, they'll turn that thing on, and then they sleep with it all night long. And it's like, guys, what are you pouring into your head? What are you pouring into your ears? If you're watching TV all day, you're likely missing out in personal socialization. Some of my clients leave their TV on, blaring away when I was there. And it's like, oh. So I would ask them to turn it down because it was very, very loud. I know some of you have had this. If you're likely missing out in person-to-person socialization, exercise. Oh, how easy it is to go crawl in that recliner and not move. It is so easy. I never realized how easy it was till I retired. Oh my goodness. And it's awful for me because I know the more I sit, the less energy, the less strength I have. I have got to keep track of that. And the less sleep you have. There's some TV shows that just, you don't know it, you might be asleep, but it interrupts your sleep pattern. I never have been able to sleep with the TV on, but my husband could. Drove me crazy. I can have soft music playing on my phone, but not the TV, it's free. And there's a host of other problems that can come along for your mental or physical health. Some shows might be more harmful than others. It depends on what you're watching, you know? Shows with positive messages can lighten your mood and better prepare us for sleep. And again, we're talking about what are we looking at? What are our eyes looking at? Hi, Barb. Hey, it's good to see you tonight. What are we looking at and how it affects our mental health? But on the flip side, shows with dark or violent content can increase feelings of feelings of stress and disrupt our sleep. Reality shows, the way they configure them and the way they enhance and edit them, what you're not seeing reality, guys. You're seeing their version of reality. So then some people start comparing themselves to what's on the reality show. Look, y'all, I am never going to be 5'6" with the figure 8 figure. Not going to happen. I am 4'11", and yeah, I got a figure 8, but it's kind of a bigger figure 8. And it's okay. It's okay. Some of those women, that's all they do is work on their body. That's their full-time job. I can't even imagine. I love to eat too much. But the shows, the editing and the enhancement that make reality shows so appealing, you could be hurting your own self-image. Be careful of that. Or some of the reality shows where they're wanting to get all this money, and they do. That can make you upset. They've got this suitcase full of thousands of dollars, and you're looking at your bank account with double zeros behind it. Be careful with that. Many viewers unconsciously compare themselves to other people's lives. Depicted unrealistically. Y'all know that on social medias and TVs and the videos and everything, none of that's real. This is real right here. This is not, I got a little bit of lipstick on and some eyeliner. I'm in my own place. This is real. Okay? But 90% of what we're looking at, what's going into our eyes that goes back to our brain, that is not real. The unfair comparison can contribute to low self-esteem, disappointment, when our real lives don't measure up. My real life has never measured up to any of that. In fact, it's probably gone below the mark a few times, and that's okay. And what about shows that focus on mental health? I thought, oh, all right, we're going to do here. Yeah, some shows do a great job of depicting mental health accurately and raising awareness for important conditions that may affect ourselves or those we love. Unfortunately, the benefits are often overshadowed by the shows that are negative and that portray suicide and perpetuate stereotypes and reinforce stigmas. There's a lot of them out there, and they're giving you a lot of false information. Watching stuff on TV, on the news, has been shown to make viewers more likely to attempt suicide. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to watch that stuff. For the media portrayals, they're tragically ignored by some TV and news programs. The National Alliance of Mental Illness has clear recommendations for some of this, but the TV programs, social media videos, they've totally ignored that. And the mental health institution is right. You have to watch. You have to let into your eyes the good things. You have to keep your mind up. And then there was a 12-year-old that this doctor treated, and he said that when she told me that she believed that the way most teenagers deal with bullying is to try and take their own life. Lesson number 5, does your child know? Does your grandchildren know? Does your great-grandchildren, does your nieces and nephew know that life around them and life on TV or on social media or anywhere on your computer are two entirely different things. Anything on a screen is 99.9% fiction, almost all the time. Teach your children to look at life. Teach your children what reality is. Do we adults know what reality is? That's important too. We can get sucked into it. We can get sucked into, what's real and what's not. Do we know? And do we keep that separated in our mind? If we're leaning too far towards this other stuff instead of what reality is, then, for example, growing up, I always saw the TV shows where the mom was home and the dad went to work, and they always had family over, and they always had company over, or they went to other places. They had the church bazaars. And that wasn't my family on any level. Dad worked, mom stayed home, and that was about it. And for a long time, it bothered me that what I was watching on TV wasn't happening in my family, in the family I was growing up in. And I didn't understand that. It took me a while to understand that those shows were just fun and fiction, and it wasn't real life. So we can do it too. And these tips can help you enjoy your favorite TV shows without hurting your mental health. Look for positive, uplifting content. Watch with family or friends, some of the good things. Plan what you're going to watch for how long to avoid unhealthy binging. Okay? Keep television and other screens out of the bedroom. Now, I know y'all looking at me. Some of you sleep with the TV in your bedroom. You have for years. This is just their suggestions. So no hollering at me, okay? Prioritize healthy routines and activities. So sitting that whole time watching, sitting that whole time scrolling, that's not good for any of us. I don't care who we are. Parents wondering what TV shows are appropriate for their children can rely on a recommendation at commonsensemedia.org. My favorite, we have a program, we have a video program through our church called Right Now Media. Amazing. All of it's wonderful. Some of my grandchildren who watch all the media or are always on social media on their phone, when they come here, they want to watch that. They want to watch Right Now Media. Oh, can we watch Roz the Bear? Can we watch this or can we watch that? They have a million channels. They come here and they want to watch that. Why? Because it makes them feel good and lifts them up. It teaches them some things and it shows them how Jesus loves them. That's important. That's important. You were made unique by God, and you have a special place in this earth and with others. Know that. You have a special place on earth and with others. You're not just floating around by yourself. You have a special place. I know it's tough to live life. Sometimes our uniqueness is hard to live with. It would be hard for me to live with some of y'all's unique attributes, and some of y'all would be hard to live with mine. But we're all unique. We're all made by God. We're made that way specifically by Him. We have access to a great and mighty power that has been through what we have been through, loves us, and wants to help us right where we are. His name is Jesus. There is hope. There is hope. Philippians 4:13. Y'all, some of y'all can recite this with me. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. I can do everything. I can get up and be active. I can turn off those ugly shows. I can do something else that will make me mentally healthy. I can do everything through Christ. Whatever I have, wherever I am, I can make it through anything in the one who makes me who I am in my uniqueness. and I can reach out. I'm supposed to reach out. If you're struggling, absolutely, he'll make a way where there seems to be no way. He'll help you reach out. He'll encourage you to reach out and reach out to others. Don't do life alone. Please don't do life alone. When it gets difficult, please, please, please reach out and be honest with others on what you need help, and tell people what type of help you need. And keep reaching out until you get the help you need, please. You don't have to do this alone. You are a valuable, unique person. Whatever you have going on, you and your family are worth the risk of you reaching out to get help. I have several people in my family that are getting therapy, and all of them are doing so much better because of it. I love it. I love that they decide to do that. When you think on the problems and stay stuck in that mire and that mess of thinking on the problems, you're worshiping the problem. You're thinking on the problem instead of the problem solver. And that only makes things worse. Anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, Proverbs 12:25. But a good word makes it glad. Get you some good word. A friend of mine's daughter says, get you some word. Get in some word. The Bible, good uplifting movies, good uplifting social. You know, people struggle with the Facebook thing, but I actually created my Facebook to have certain things, and I've blocked anything that I see as harmful or angry or negative. Not that I don't want negative. I mean, I need to see that too, but I'm not going to have the cussing and the hollering and the fussing about everything all the time. There isn't anything we can do about it except pray. So a young lady was talking about what our president is doing. I get her concern. There's nothing she can do about it except talk about on social media site. Well, I put in, this is a great thing to pray about. It is. God's greater than we are. He's going to take care of us, and he's going to take care of the mess. It might get messier. It might not. But God's going to take care of us one way or the other. He promised that. There are people out there just for you that God has healed to help you become whole, healed, and delivered. God uses people to help you. You call your doctor, your pastor, the one at the Y, your mental health clinic. Call your psychiatrist. Call 988. There's help, and they will walk you through. There's so many places God has given us. So many places God has given us to get help. My health may fail and my spirit may grow weak, but God remains a strength in my heart. He is mine forever. Hey, Sarah, good seeing you, honey. Forever when we reach out. When we reach out to Jesus and others, we're allowing Jesus to give us life and have it more abundantly. So what you're watching, what's coming through your eyes is hitting your brain, and then it makes all these images. So be careful what you watch. Be careful what's your, hey Gail, good seeing you. Hey Terry, nice to see you guys on. So we're talking about the eyes, and I'm just finishing up, and I'm just saying, for those of us who can see, watch what we're looking at. Watch what we're reading, what we're binging on. Hearing is important too, but I'm just talking about the eyes today because I came upon that verse in, I'm looking for it, somewhere in here, in Psalm 119, that said, Lord, turn my eyes away from the worthless things. And that's what started me on this particular evening. Keep our eyes, find out what's worthless, and then keep our eyes away from that and start watching and seeing the things that are good. It poured like crazy here all day, almost all day, and it was cold and it was miserable. And what was interesting is the sun came out, and I was in my church office, and I looked up, and it was so nice to see the sun come out. I just stared out the window for a while. It felt good to see that. Even simple things could encourage you. So take your mind off the issues, give them to God. Don't keep watching on all that stuff. It's not going to help. Start watching and listening. Start watching things of the Lord. I talked about Right Now Media, which is a wonderful thing to watch. First one I ever watched, I cried all the way through it. Yeah, it was a good cry. I needed to do it. There's so much out there that we can do. So much out there we can be encouraged in. There's so much out there, and there's so many people out there that can help us. So I encourage you. Take a mental check on what we're watching, because it does go into your brain. And reach out if you feel like you're struggling with something, if you feel like you want to hurt yourself or others. Reach out. Reach out to God first and foremost, and ask Him to guide you to where you need to go. There's so many places you can go. So many people you can talk to now. It's become amazing, and they can be ones that work with you very well. And then continue doing those things to make yourself healthy. I appreciate you watching tonight. Thank you for watching Friday's Hope this evening. If this video, you can watch it later on YouTube, on the Friday's Hope YouTube, as well as Friday's Hope Facebook page. If you would go to Friday's Hope Facebook page and you would click follow, I only need a few more followers to be able to go live on that page. That's the best way to support us. And prayer. Thank you for that, for praying. And just keep reaching out. God bless you, Sarah. Thank you. Just keep reaching out and keep grabbing hold of God, and keep grabbing hold of your friends. They're there for you. Keep grabbing hold if you need to. Go to a therapist. First one doesn't work, find another one. And keep reaching. One of my daughters had to do that. And she found one that's great. I love it. She's doing so much better. It's a blessing to see me as her mom. To see her as her mom. To see her get better. Thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping me in your prayers. I pray godly richly blesses and heals your hurting heart and your hurting mind and your hurting body. I appreciate y'all. God bless you.